We are really proud with the Portuguese participation in this first edition of the Target Gender Equality Program, as they count for a highly significant share of our business companies in terms of employment, revenue, and sphere of influence. Leading the ways of sustainability, the participants also benefit from being light beacons for the whole market, defining new standards of gender equality. Our network has a long experience in gender equality issues, as we feel that in the last 10 years, meaningful impact was done and is widely recognized. But the big picture is not so nice. As is well known, according to recent statistical projections, we still have to work for many years before we can celebrate the achievement of gender parity in C-level responsibilities and equal pay in wages. We all agree that this parity must result from fair choice between the worst men and women, whose competence and courage qualify for the top management in organizations. We all accept that an imposed quota system is an intermediate stage, a transitory legal impulse to facilitate the path of women stigmatized by anachronic paradigms who pretend to keep them as executioners and subordinates. It is a clear violation of fundamental human rights to presume the existence of different cognitive and emotional abilities. But it is also a serious economic error, because there will be no progress if we do not fully open the door to the participants of the best, regardless of their gender or personal life options. In our market, companies committed to gender equality find the TGA program a fine opportunity to consolidate the women's empowerment principles and embody their contributions to SDG 5. Real change and real progress is now mandatory, not just intentions, studies, or declarations. TGA requires the definition of realistic but ambitious goals for the promotion of gender equality, demonstrating commitment and concrete action with employees, investors, and other stakeholders, with the use of appropriated methodologies. There is no shortage of tools to achieve this purpose. Statistics continue to predict parity only beyond the 21st century. To achieve results sooner, we have to increase engagement, review strategies and policies, find effective approaches, better work-life balance, meaning understand family issues, personal life demands, innovative work organization, discuss underpaid jobs' real value, find ways to increase well-being in the working system, ease the rising of children, and so on. Working towards the 2030 agenda in all its goals is also working for gender equality. It's hard to believe that we will have an equality where other inequalities persist. The cause of gender equality is also a cause to leverage all equalities, leaving no one behind. Sudden rupture is not feasible, but principle-based evolution is possible. The way is to manage an incremental process with a vision of total achievement. The Global Compact in Portugal will not fail this mission to fulfill the 17 SDGs for all, everywhere. We are sure that this good fight will be successful before this century ends, with the support and with the contributions of all men and women who choose to live in a society based on human rights. Many thanks to all the team that created and made this event possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Well, with us we have 4 companies representing different sectors from our 10 TG participants. So we have Ana Bernardes from Accenture Portugal. We have Paula Carneiro from EDP, which is an energy company. We have Inês Sequeira Mendes from a leading law firm in Portugal. And we have Catherine Baez from AGAs Portugal, which is an insurance company. And to all of you, thank you for being with us. And I will start with Inês, if you don't mind. And what we would like to know is, as a leading law firm, is the issue of gender equality an issue with your stakeholders? Do you think your clients, I don't know, do they talk to you about this? This is a problem for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much for having us today here and to be able to talk a little bit about our experience and how we are dealing also with the question of gender equality. Yes, we have been dealing a lot of this issue, both with our clients and also internally. In fact, for Abreu Advogados, this has been an issue for quite a long time now. And we are kind of proud and would like also to let you know what initiatives in the past that we have been following. And we have been engaging also our clients and stakeholders in this path through gender equality. I think we can comfortably say that we were one of the pioneers in gender equality promotion. We do have an internal code of conduct since the very beginning of the office. Of course, it has evolved over the years. We were, I think, almost 15 years ago, we realized, because we started having female woman partners of the law firm also, and this also contributed a lot to the awareness of the issue of women at work. And we have implemented since then a motherhood policy for our women lawyers. So it dates back for some years now. In the meantime, we have also implemented parenthood, which is as important as having a maternity policy to have a parental policy as well. And we have also implemented coaching sessions, mostly for female, for work balance issues. We have implemented flexibility at work. We have special programs also assisting everyone because it's gender equality, but of course with a special focus on women because they still do have some particularities as regards the family duties in particular. So we have also been the first law firm to have a female managing partner, Carmo Sousa Machado, which is also currently the chairman of the board of directors. And we have been throughout the years also including women at the boards. Although, of course, we still have some, I guess, around 30% females as partners. But when we look at our profile, at the structure of the firm, we can understand that this reality will very soon change because the law sector is becoming more and more a woman sector. So when we look at the structure, we can understand that it's in a few years, this will change hugely.
Maybe
so
we need the program the way around. In a few years, we may need the program.
Maybe, because when we look at some of the levels, we can see that the difference is really the other side. So we have levels where we have almost 70% of women and 30% of men. So yes, we have to start looking at that as well in another way.
In a few
As
years.
for clients, so we have implemented these internal measures that we have in place and that we revise every year to see if they are fit and if they have to have some adjustments. We have implemented also strategic partnerships with IGN, with Women PWN, Professional Women's Network. We have our partner Ana Sofia Batista started there in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, and she's currently also at the board. We have also helped creating Women Win-Win, which is a platform also aimed for women and to develop their skills more directed to the online and to the electronic world that we live in. And as for our clients, we have also been trying to always engage them in all the initiatives of these associations that we are part of, so that they can be active participants, also in terms of awareness and to give their experience and try to bring them to these issues. So if your question was also if we note that clients look at these issues and ask us for these issues. It wasn't a question for some years, but lately we have been noticing a change. So yes, for the past years, more and more clients have been asking us about gender equality in the firm. They look to the teams when we propose the teams for each work, and that is a concern. So yes, we do notice the change, and I think that is quite favorable, and we're working on that. So okay. Good news.
Yes, good news.
Sorry.
Good news for gender equality. No problem. Well, Catherine, I know that diversity and inclusion is an issue for you. It's you have quite a robust policy on this issue. So can you please tell us what are your main challenges on this issue? Maybe a gap in leadership positions? No? Can you elaborate a little bit, please? We cannot hear you, Catherine. Thank you.
This works better. Thank you for having us, and we are very eager to participate in your program and to share our story here a little bit for others to learn with us. So GS is a multinational company, and we have gender equality on our strategic agenda because we can and we want to boost the transition towards a more equal society. And we see three challenges, or you can call it opportunities or benefits for the employees, for our own business and bottom line, and for the general economy. So for the employees, I think, again, three main reasons why we are doing this. We want to give same opportunities, same expectations, so people can make their life choices and we don't exclude any talented people that we have. It's valid for the actual management, but also for the future leaders. Secondly, we want to promote a safe and inclusive workplace. And to have a safe and inclusive workplace, people have to be and have to have the freedom to be themselves and to be able to express their ideas, whether you're a man or a woman. And we know that they are not doing it in the same way. And thirdly, we acknowledge that some employees, they have caring responsibilities. For them, work-life integration is important. So we want to give society a sign that gender roles do not influence areas of expertise, career breaks, part-time choices, and so on. So on the employee side, these are for us the drivers to tackle gender equality. On the business and the bottom line, I think the President has already spoken about that. We know there are a number of benefits. There's financial performance, attract and retain talent, not to forget innovation and market reputation. But I will not go too much deeper in that. Now, so if this is our ambition, what's our strategy and how are we putting into action? Here again, there's an internal focus and an external focus. On the internal focus, we are part of an international group. So we have different entities from different geographies that can work together and give different perspectives. And that's very interesting to bring that into the conversation. Internally, for Portugal, we focus, yes, on gender balance. I think mainly in our executive committee, we had one lady that went back to Brussels. So the biggest challenge is there. And I think by extension for the whole financial sector, there is work to do. So we will for sure focus on that. The gender pay gap. We want that everybody for the same position and with the same value can have the same financial contribution. And finally, the talent management, partly the female talent management, develop skills of our women, of our female employees. But, and here I want to stress that training of the current leaders and management to drop stereotypes and bias, to open that space, create opportunities for diverse leaders to arise. So we will not only focus in the talent management of our female employees, but of all our management to have that awareness and drop any stereotypes that are there over women. All this together relates to gender equality and fits in a broader diversity and inclusion strategy and policy that we are writing. As I said, because we want our employees to be able to be themselves at work and to give all employees this diversity lens. So try to look through the lens of diversity and then apply it in every decision. It's a small decision or a big decision. How are you going to take it when you look through this diversity lens, when you look through the gender equality lens? Take 10 more seconds to revise your decision and see if that works. The external focus, there we want to address our clients, our investments, and our community. I always work with the rule of 3, it's easy for the people. So clients, we have a way to go to also apply gender equality, not only in our people and organization, but also in our products and services. We are making steps. We have Medish, which is our health insurance brand. They have launched a baby program. And the nice thing to see is that it does not only address as health insurance the mother that has to go through clinical procedures, but also both parents. How are they looking at their baby? How can we assist them in welcoming their baby? And the role of the father as is the mother is put very clearly at equal attention. Regarding investments, I think it's important also to give power to female entrepreneurs, to put taboos and stigmas that exist around women, like having their periods, into attention and remove these stigmas. So through our investment in the maize, mustard seed maize impact fund that we have here in Portugal, and that's very important even at European level, we are investing in companies that address these topics, or we invest in companies that are led by female entrepreneurs. So we have that attention as well. As an insurance company, we have a lot of money to manage, and I think it's important also that this money can go in equal parts to females and to last but not least, community. We have a corporate foundation, which is called the GS Foundation or Fundação AGH. Here as well, we are trying to support NGOs. You have, for example, Girl Move that empowers young women with leadership potential. And of course, community. This is also community, target gender equality, the community where we hope that we can work together with others, learn from others, so that we can influence in the end to spread positive change.
Well, thank you, Catherine. You gave us a journey of diversity and inclusion at AGH. Thank you for that. And now my attention goes to Paula. EDP is one of the few companies in Portugal which is in Bloomberg Gender Equality Index. I would ask you, what do you think are the main challenges for EDPs at the moment? Maybe setting a public target? I don't know.
Yes, thank you, Annabelle, and thank you for inviting EDP to be here in this roundtable today with such an interesting and important topic. So yeah, we have several challenges. So at EDP, we have recently updated our business case on diversity and inclusion. And regarding gender equality, I think although there's a clear evolution throughout the last years, I think we still have some challenges ahead, and I would name a few of those challenges. For sure, participation of women at the EDP workforce has been increasing. We, in the recent years, increased 3 points overall in the workforce, and 4 points in the leadership positions. This has been, I think, since 2014, so in the last 6-7 years. And currently we have 40% of women in the board. So overall 26% women in the workforce and 25% in leadership. So I think we still have a long way to go, and the challenge is to continue to increase women's participation in EDP.
But you are in a difficult sector.
Yes, so yes. It's traditionally a very male sector, and although 3 percent points or 4 percent points, it seems very low, but for us is like huge because this sector is really very traditionally very male, and it's an industry. So we have been making a lot of efforts in recruitment and retention of our women. I would say also we have recently updated our commitment, and you said you asked for public targets. Yes, we recently updated our commitment external to the market, so to 25 and to 30, so 2025, 2020, 30, with an ambitious public target, so 30% by 2025 and 35% by 2030. On both global headcount as well on leadership positions. So to meet this target, I think we need to keep a good track on gender pipeline, both on employer branding attractiveness and like supporting women in precise segments like female students on engineer, mathematics, sciences, technology. And the previous, most recently, so the last years, we have had joining EDP around 30% every year. So our kind of onboarding and recruitment pipeline has been higher than the female representation that we have around the group. So women advancement and support is also critical, not only by pushing efforts to increase participation at every stage, but by promoting mentoring and role models, and of course increasing the organizational support, so enablement. Traditionally, we had some challenges around enablement in the company, which we kind of reversed in the last year. So last year, the results were very good on this topic, but still we feel that there's always a bit more challenge around enablement than for females than for males. And I think it's also top of our agenda to promote equal job and equal pay policies, and we have had some improvements. We need to continue to close the gap on gender pay gap. So in each market, and some of the markets, we are still kind of a long way to go. Not so much in Europe, but in other geographies like Brazil, for instance, we still have some way to go. And we have some projects and action plans with clear targets to kind of improve this topic. Also, we continue to foster gender equality and an inclusive workplace, and it was mentioned before here. I think everybody understands that equality is everybody's job, and we are building a strong internal community around diversity and inclusion to continue creating this awareness and training around this topic. And I think that it was mentioned, the unconscious bias. We have had lots of training around unconscious bias, actually to promote a much more inclusive culture. So for leaders and for non-leaders, we started there a few years ago, and now we have thousands of people already trained. I remember we have around 12,000 employees worldwide in around 20 geographies, and we have been training them on this topic. So we started with diversity, and then we moved into a more kind of inclusive type of training. And finally, I would say that I believe that in order to achieve our targets and get closer to this gender equality, for me, I think for EDP, one of the things that is very key is really to have a close look at the numbers and continuously taking them into account in every single people management process and decision, from recruitment to development to promotion to succession. I think we cannot understand the dimension of the challenge or where we are or where we want to be without knowing our numbers and the reasons behind those numbers. So really, I think when we started this journey, and it was back in 2013, 2014, as I mentioned before, I think the first things we learned was really to know your numbers, because without knowing those numbers, you cannot make progress. So I think that's probably, these are some of the challenges that we still have.
Okay. Thank you, Paula. I think you are in a tough sector, because it's difficult to create the pipeline. So I think that is quite a challenge, which is different between the companies that we have represented on this roundtable. Well, and finally, Anna, Accenture already had a public target. You did very well in Portugal regarding this target. So do you think this sets a signal for the market? Do you think that when a worldwide company like Accenture sets a public target regarding gender equality, do you think this is a good sign? Can you share?
Well, absolutely. First of all, thank you for the invitation. You always know that we are quite keen to be in all these events to learn more than to share, but yes. So back to your question, Annabella, yes, first of all, we definitely send the message to the market. As you know, we are 500,000 people around the world, so we are a public company in the stock exchange in the US. So we are pretty much scrutinized by all the decisions that we made. So I think that this decision, besides the courageous of the decision, was really taken by a man, which was the CEO, Pierre Nanterme, which unfortunately left us. And now we currently have a CEO, which is Julie Sweet, which is a woman. And really it's just walk the talk, and there's definitely a sign for the public to be able to share our commitment, which is bold. We know that it's 50-50 by 2025. But as a company in the market that serves hundreds of clients and tries to inspire a lot of employees, as I said, 500,000 employees, it's pretty much a huge number, and also candidates and the new generations. This commitment really goes beyond saying that it's just a commitment, but and just talk about gender equality is really walk the talk. And that's still much work to do as we need to join forces with companies and the society, obviously, because we can't do this alone. The talent is not something that you decide to create in the market and have more women prepared to move into companies. So we need to start early. And this is quite something that we need to be committed with the society, preparing women and men to tech and digital skills. So there's a lot of work. So our public commitment reaches a good end. Globally, we've already have 48% of women in the workforce. So even though we are not far from the target, it's a lot to a company with our size. We have 45% of our women in our workforce, which is pretty much a good number. We hired 48%. So the 48% that I said was the number that we hired this year. Still, so since September to the end of February, the gender recruiting mix was 48%, which is pretty good. And we are at 5% of reaching the target in 4 years, even though it's a long way to go. And we have 42% of women on the board of directors, which means on our global management committee, we have very well representatives on the women's side. But then again, we only have 30% of executives as women. So in the executive levels, we are really far from the numbers that we have as targets. But really, as I think that was Paula that was mentioning, that the importance of having this type of information so we can address the right and correct experience. And one of the things that we've learned from the past, that this is something that you need to put on your KPIs for evaluating your leadership. So one of our, and again, I think it's pretty much a very, it needs to have guts and be bold to set a performance achievement program, which is our program of performance management, to set a KPI for executives that not only consider, but develop and hire women. So this is something that in our process of evaluation is considered. It's something that we need to, it's not a tick, it's really actions that you put in place to have this, one of the pillars of the inclusion and diversity, because we have 5 and gender is one of them, but is something that is really related with our performance as managers. So everyone should have this on top of their minds to be able to fulfill their overall commitment as a manager of this company. So again, I think there's this a very good sign for the companies that work with us, which also I think clients, and Inês was talking about clients, so they really privilege the teams where we have women managing teams, or because as you know, we are mainly we are a consultancy firm. We do an end-to-end type of work, but we have one of our major activities is technology and implementation and digital and new, everything in the new. So there's a few, still a few women on the market due to the evolving of the market. So it's pretty much something that we have on our agenda. And a concern about this public target is that with this pandemic, studies are really showing that we are taking steps back. So this puts up, and I will send you a new study that Accenture released on this topic, because really one of our main concerns right now is not to give a step back where we are just trying to move forward with a lot of different policies and our talent strategies and everything that we've put in place to guarantee that gender and pay equality are in place. So really this is something that we are concerned, and even though we have a public objective and we sent a message to the market, now there's the time to fulfill it, yes.
And it's a great sign, I think. Well, we only have a few minutes, so I would briefly ask you just what do you think that this program, Target Gender Equality, brought to Accenture Portugal?
So even though it's true that we have 30% of women in our leadership and we have very good numbers, the value added that we when we start working together it's really to make sure that our work of inclusion is aligned with other companies, that we can learn a lot with other companies, that we are moving towards equality within the established alliances that we have. So it's pretty much something that we aim. So being integrated in the Target Gender Equality program helped us a lot in learning and fine-tune our programs and make sure that we are running in the right direction. So thank you, because that's a really tough time to do so, but really helped us to be in a network where we can connect more, learn more, and also share more.
And share, right? That's the main goal. It's learn and then share. Okay, thank you, Ana. Inês, can you share with us what was the main result for Abreu Advogados of TGE?
Well, yes, it was. It has been really important for us, and we are glad with the results.
We have 3 minutes for.
Okay, as you know, we have just started. So what we have been through was the diagnosis phase, and we found it really, really useful. So we are now starting. We had some policies already implemented. We know that we had space for more and better, and TGA is really helping us to go through that. We understood clearly from the diagnosis made that we have room for improvement in measurement, in reporting, so in redefining our internal policies. So this is really a good process and a good way so that we can learn more with all the experience of the others and with the help of TGA. So has been a very interesting experience, and we have learned a lot, and I think it will help us to continue this path in a much stronger and consistent way.
Okay, thank you, Inês. As Paula said, know your numbers. If you know your numbers,
that's it, and I don't think we had an idea that we didn't have that, so it was very helpful.
Thank you. Paula, can you give us some final words, because we are just finishing?
So final words of TG or final words?
TG.
Okay, so I think for us, being part of this Target Gender Equality is clearly aligned with our goals. So first place contributes to accelerate our efforts on all the ESG dimensions. And we recently, so last Thursday, when we announced our new business plan with all these targets and on environment, social and governance dimensions. And of course, to create our long-term value creation and namely on the gender dimension. So I think TGE also helps us on the top level commitment, expanding our knowledge, so learning with the experts, creating a network, so the possibility of exchanging ideas and practices with other companies. I think it gives us also a structure, so a frame where we can really include all of this and walk the walk and not just the talk. And I think it's really important for us to have you, as also to help us define a set of impactful initiatives. So on the strategy of diversity and inclusion and gender equality, such as community involvement or communication, leadership, accountability, among others. So I think this I would mention those as probably the most relevant ones on our partnership.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you very much. And last but not the least, Catherine, some final words, please, on TGE, if you can. Do you think this was a contribution for you?
For us, it was extremely useful. TGE is the first active engagement with Global Compact, of which we want to engage certainly more. Global Compact for us was an institutional commitment and engagement that's very important at the highest levels to give that signal. TGE, well, I thought a lot about employees, about culture, and the ones that are driving that are the people of HR, or people and organization, as we call it. So this program was extremely useful to onboard them on the topics, to help them structure our internal action plan for diversity and inclusion and target gender equality in particular. So where the sustainability theme is covering a broad umbrella of topics, I think this program specifically was a good help to the people team that now will have to work on all the topics I've mentioned with all the levels of the organization, from every single employee taking up the diversity lens to the executive committee thinking about how they can bring women around the table. So thank you very much. It has been extremely useful to us to have a fast track, I would say, a fast track to tackle the topic into action. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Well, thank you all for your contributions. It has been a good journey with all of these 10 companies working on gender equality. And I hope there are some lessons learned. We will be making a publication with some ideas and a few quick wins that all companies can use. So stay with us. Thank you very much. See you again.